each and every day that we come to go live, we have not gotten all the switches together to make sure that my audio is up and running. And this is why I'm glad we came out to have a heart-to-heart talk with one another. All right. I want to have a conversation about self-worth and self-love today. I want us to talk about a lot that's been going on inside of the media with vloggers, with content creators, and this really weird space that we're in right now. So welcome, 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 welcome in everybody. I know, we're gonna get it together. Slowly but surely, we move through slowly but surely, we're getting it together, and yeah, we just have to continue to put one foot in front of the other, and just how do I put it? We just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome. All right. First things first, let's give a special shout out to those who are a part of the text notification squad. I want you to throw your tens up in the air if you are part of the select group of people who have decided to put their stamp on it and make sure that no matter what else happens, that we know how to get in touch with one another, that we know how to stay in touch with one another, that you support the show. The text notification squad is $1.99 a month. It is $22 for the year, or $4.99 a month if you're international, or $50 for the year. And with that, you get a text notification 15 minutes before we go live. So go ahead and throw your tens up in the air. I want to see you all representing out there. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about self-love and self-worth and and combating the toxic messages that you as a woman, especially as a Black woman, are constantly under the barrage of, where there are people who are now trying to posit that if you are an 8, a 10, giving you some sort of chronological number by which to categorize you by some arbitrary measure that the person doing the categorization has come up with in order to tell you what they deem your worth as, and to try to do some sort of toxic newfangled prediction on who it is that you're going to settle down with, who you deserve to settle down with. And from what it is that I've heard in those types of messaging, are people who are constantly hoping to be able to get you to lower your standards, constantly hoping to be able to get you to decide that you deserve less. It's abusive, it's manipulative, it is toxic, and it is right on target for what it is that they want. There are many people who want to be able to return to a time. Take this out of my ear so we could just have a heart-to-heart talk. There are many people who want to return to the time where you had very little choice. There are males who are online who are fantasizing about returning to a day where women had to listen and women didn't have autonomy. They don't care whether or not your grandmothers were happy. They don't care whether or not your great-grandmothers were being abused or misused, or whether she started having children at 13 from a man who was 10 or 20 years her senior. They don't care. They don't care if she didn't have her own money, because that actually helped her not be able to make the moves and the strides that she needed. They want you to feel as if the world is as small as their microcosm. They want you to feel that the world is constricting. They want you to feel that they have come up with this checklist. Listen, if I see anybody in here who is giving themselves a rating, right, on this video, right, talking about what you feel that you are based on somebody else's somebody else's list, you're going to get in trouble with me. I'm telling you that right now. Do not give yourselves any effing ratings on my videos. And stop, my God. My God. Stop this. Stop this. You know what? I'm taking the comments off of the bottom of the video because some of you are acting up. And I'll bring them back once I feel that you all are back on track. That is the very opposite of what it is that we're talking about. Very opposite of what it is that we're talking about. First of all, you are the human embodiment of the universal source energy. You are a fragment of the ray of the light. You know, when you take, I don't know if you've ever taken two candles. I'm sure everybody who's had a little birthday party put two candles together. And when you put those two flames together, you could not differentiate one flame from the other. And that's the same way that it is with universal energy. So for you to downgrade or degrade yourself is to degrade the Most High, because you are a creation, you are a manifestation of the Most High. You are the Most High in human form. Stop letting these limited, constricted, conquered kings with no kingdom have you out here trying to determine what your number is on a scale based on a bum. Come on now. Stop this. Stop this. It's you. It's you. You have to determine your worth. You have to invest the time in figuring out this journey of this life of yours for you. It's not going to come from some man's nutsack. It's not going to come from a piece of metal that he decides to slide on your finger and do whatever it is that he's going to do after that metal's been slid on. It has nothing to do with that. Stop putting your happiness on hold. Stop putting your value in the hands of other people. Start focusing on who it is that you are, where it is that you're going, how it is that you choose to feel with what it is that you have right now. It's as simple as that. What it is that you have right now. Let's start there. Let's start there. All right? Here we go. All right. So let's continue going forward. You know, I've been seeing this very troubling trend that's been going on online with these men who are gathered in their pockets of, you know, it started out really slowly, right? And I want to do a video on this tomorrow because I feel that Black relationships are definitely in trouble. I feel that Black women are angry with good reason. And I feel that there's going to come a time of a rude awakening. See, because women are very different than men. And, you know, a man will dawdle. He'll dawdle and he'll go back and forth, limbering between you and someone else or his life, or not really. And then with the breakup, he'll be very happy and very happy about it. And then he'll want to come, et cetera, et cetera. But when a woman is done, she's done. She's sickened. She's turned off. She's disinterested. She's cool on it, and she's done. And I see this shift that is going on inside of the Black community, and it is very telling. The writing is on the wall, and there are going to be some people who are not going to wake up until it's too late. Because I can already see what is happening. I see the shift. I hear the anger. I hear the vitriol. You know, I support other Black female content creators. Some of you are like, oh, why do you support these Black female content creators, et cetera, right? And some people are like, oh, this person's message is so extreme. Why do you like such and such a person? And I'll say this. I personally believe that it takes all types. I don't believe that the battle is won with just pawns, rooks, bishops, knights, queens, or the king. It takes many different types for the battle to be won. And so I see the writing on the wall, and I don't know if, and I think that there are some men, there's some black men who are waking up to the writing that is on the wall. But by the time the masses of them wake up, you see, we'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. We'll come out early and we'll have that conversation. I'm going to open up the apples. The Cash App is $ Tanya TKO. I wonder if I should open up the phone lines. I haven't figured out quite yet how to get the the sound onto the broadcast. But if you all say that you want the phone lines opened up, I'll open them tonight. So you can let me know if that is what you are interested in, and then we'll go from there, right? And we'll go from there. But nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, you have got to find your worth inside of you. Your worth has to be independent of your children, independent of your husband, independent of the job that you have, independent of the amount of money that you have, independent of what your current weight is, independent of what your current health is, independent of what your eye color looks like, your skin color looks like, your hair length, your teeth, your fat in the back, your booty, your belly, your tatas, whatever. You have to find your worth inside of you, independent of those things. Okay, so Stephanie said, Stephanie, I'm sorry, are you the young lady who was complaining in the beginning about your text notification coming in after your YouTube notification? Listen, I stated in the video yesterday, the text notification squad is best suited for people who want to receive a text 15 minutes before I go live. Whether or not we are going to be in a technological war with YouTube to see who can send out the notification first is not what the text notification squad was designed to do. It was designed to have us be able to be in contact off of these platforms and not be dependent on the notifications of these platforms. So that is the purpose of the text notification squad. To do that, to be able to get your invites to broadcast off platform, to be able to be a part of the text notification squad and this community that we're growing here. And if you find value in what it is that we've been providing for the $1.99 per month, by all means, take advantage of the value that you find. If you don't find value in it, then by all means, don't continue. Do what it is that you need to do that's right for you. The text notification squad is a way to be able to get the text, to be able to know how to be in touch with me. If anything happens on this platform, I know how to reach you personally, and you are able to support the show. It's the link to joining the text notification squad is in the description of this video. And let me ask the people who are on the text notification squad, do you feel that you get your $1.99 value per month or your $22 a year value per month? Let me see what you all have to say from the text notification squad. Let's see. Go ahead, let's see. Let's see. So Stephanie's saying she feels famous because I said her name. All right. I wonder how many other people feel famous when I say their name out loud. Say my name. Say my name. All right. You know what? People talk about iPhones as if iPhones are so great and magnificent, but I'm not finding that to be the case. I find that iPhones are behind the technology of Androids. Okay, so these are the people who are finding value. So I don't get many FB, but I went and subscribed on YouTube today. YouTube never sent a notification. Yes, I like the heads up, more than enough, worth it. Absolutely more than I expected. You see, so thank you. So there are people who get their money is well spent and they are well happy with it. And there are some people who complain, who are not a part of the text notification squad, because I guess they feel that I don't know. You see, it's all a part of what it is that we've been saying. And we talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video, but people don't want to acknowledge that there is an internal hatred that some people have for Black women. There's an internal hatred that people want to see us suffer. People don't want to see us doing well. People don't want to see us succeeding. And it's strange. It's strange. It's strange. So nonetheless, so let's continue going forward. I am going to try to open up the I just don't even, I don't know how to work. I don't know how to work. I don't know how to work. I'm still trying to figure out how to work the iPhone. It ain't working. It ain't working for me. All right. Bria, it is not. It is not, because I'm telling you, I don't get the instantaneous notifications from the Cash App on my iPhone. I don't. And I don't know how to refresh it so that I can get the notifications. I'm trying to pull it up. I'm trying to pull it up so that I can, you know how they have all of those screens all together? I'm trying to pull it up so that I can close the screen so that it can refresh itself, but it ain't doing it. It ain't doing it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, because see, I'm refreshing it and it shows that an apple has come in, but it's not showing the new apple and it's like 10 minutes behind schedule. It's bizarre. I still have the Android, but I don't use that for the apples because my Android, I get a lot of notifications on it and I don't want those notifications coming up into the broadcast. So I have both, and I'm saying from using both, I prefer the Android. That's just the long and short of it. What we're going to do is we're going to play the video from the Text Notification Squad commercial while I turn on the phone lines and figure out a way to have you all call in. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. And then we'll go from there. All right, so let's play this commercial real quick and then we'll come right back. Are you tired of missing Tanya TKO's live videos? Arriving late when the video is well underway or about to end? Are you fatigued of only seeing a live video randomly while perusing YouTube and Facebook? Or worse, randomly unsubscribed? Well, now you can get a text notification whenever I go live. No longer are we dependent on the algorithm of these fickle platforms. For just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $4.99 a month international, you get a personalized text message 15 minutes before each live show. Now, you can show up early with the Text Squad, meet other people from all over the world, and get invited to secret broadcasts off-platform. Most importantly, support your favorite independent creator. Go to TanyaTKO.com and click on text. Join the TKO Text Squad today for just $1.99 a month US and Canada, or $22 a year if you pay in advance, $4.99 a month international, $50 a year if you pay in advance. You'll never again be tardy to the party. I'll see you on the next broadcast. TanyaTKO.com/text. All right, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. All right, I appreciate you all being here. We're still logging into the system. So the telephone number is 323-488-3149. And somebody said that they feel that the older folks love them Androids and the younger folks love. No, it's really a matter of, I think people who are have the iPhone, I think that they are people who enjoy being a part of an exclusive clique. The iPhone is not easier to use. It's not even intuitive, because there are things that exist in the iPhone that you will not know how to do, like shortcuts that you will not know how to do unless you come upon it by mistake. It's just not intuitive. Okay, so we are getting this loaded up right now. It's not the same. Stop this madness. It's not the same. They're very different. They're very different. There are some things that the iPhone is better at. There are some things that the iPhone is better at. But overall user experience, I say Android, especially with what you get for the money, the camera quality, all of that, all of that, all of that. So it looks like for some reason the internet is moving a little slow. But we're logging in right now, 323-488-3149. Let me close some of these windows. Make sure that my stuff is saved. Okay. Wants to access my microphone. Wants to show notifications. Okay, let's see. All right. So let's see. Audio settings. Let's see where the audio settings are. Let's see if we can. It does not. Hold on. Let me make sure I got my. Let me see if I can hear this. Wants to use your microphone. Allow. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Test. Test, test, test. I guess we're going to give it a test right now. All right. All right. Phone lines are open right now. So let's see how this works on here, because this is our first time using it. So let's take a look and see how it works. 323-488-3149. That's the telephone number. I need. Okay. I hear it ringing, but I don't see it. It has not come up. My firewall blocked it. Hold on for a second. I have to go to my firewall. This is unbelievable. I don't even. Oh, you know what? That was a boondoggle right there. Ugh, I don't know what I've done now. All right. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. So I don't hear you. So let's change a few things. Hello? Let's change a few settings and see whether or not I will be able to hear you. It says can't connect your call. Oh, that was bad. Let's see. Hello? All right, I need you to just stay with me on the line if you can hear me, because there's some sort of audio setting that is stopping us. Hello? There's some audio setting that is what's happening? I don't know what to do because it's not. Hello? Okay, listen, I see, this is the first time that I've started trying to use the system, and it is not, this is the first time we've tried, and I guess it was bound to happen sooner or later, right? I guess it was bound to happen. Let's see. Let's fix up the audio settings and see what we have. Okay, microphone. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's not showing me how to grab the phone call. Can you all hear that ringing? Can you all hear that? Can you all hear it? I don't, I hear it. Can you all hear it? Hello? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, press a button on your phone so I could at least know whether or not I'm hearing any sounds. Huh. Okay. I need somebody to tell me what's happening if they're calling. I need someone to call and tell me what happens when they call. Do you hear me? Do you not hear me? Hello, can you hear me? I wonder what's happening. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to my firewall and see if my firewall, let's see. It says, I've been trying to avoid testing this because, hold on. Today is 6/17, right? Okay, so it blocked this. So it says setting to block potentially unwanted apps is, okay, your device may be vulnerable. Okay, that's fine. I'm not seeing the thing anymore. Ugh, this is so frustrating, but it is what it is. At least you all can hear it. So there seems to be some sort of problem with the phone call connecting. It's the same number over and over. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, now it is doing something. Let me try calling a number. Let me try calling a number. All right, let's see. Let me see if it calls a number. If it can call a number, then it should be able to answer a number. It says calling now. Let's see. Okay, it's ringing. Hello? 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 So I'm not getting, oh, I need to put, hello? Hello? So I'm not getting any volume over here. So that's one of the issues. I'm not getting any volume. Okay. Let's see. All right. Hello? Hello? Huh. I'm not getting any volume, so that's probably what the issue is. I'm not getting volume from here, so let's change one of these mic settings. Let me turn this. I really don't. It's not showing a call coming in. This is very interesting, and I'm not even gonna let it bother me. Typically, something like this would bother me, but I'm not gonna let it bother me. All right, I hear that. I hear that. Now let's test the microphone. Testing, testing. I see the volume moving and I hear the sound. So then I wonder what the issue is. I wonder why it's not connecting. Let me close my browser and then restart it. Oh, let me do this. All right. I have closed it and I'm going to restart it. I closed it and I'm restarting it now. So give me just one moment. It says your browser might prevent calls from ringing. Change your browser settings to allow. Okay, here, learn more. Turn on allow sites to play sound. It says make sure your computer can receive calls. Go to, at the top right, click the little gear shift. On the left, click calls. So let's see. At the top right, click the gear shift. Let's see. Let's go back and let's go and click the gear shift. And then I don't see the area that says allow calls. It says turn on. Okay, it says on the left, click calls under my devices, turn on web. So, okay, at the top right, click the gear icon. On the left, click calls. Under my devices, turn on web. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, let's click on calls. Web is on. So it's still not letting it come through. For some reason, it's just not working. And there's no explanation for why. It says learn more. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. This is just a mess. Allow sound from your browser. Other items to troubleshoot. Change your microphone or speakers. Optimize your network. Turn notifications on or off. Was this helpful? No, it wasn't helpful. All right, let me try a different browser. I'm going to try a different browser and see if we could get it that way. Give me one moment. That's not the right tab. All right, give me one moment, y'all. All right. We'll try that browser another day when we do a test. All right. We're going to try a different browser, but we'll come back to that browser one day. Just Jay got blocked. How? All right. So I want somebody to try now. Let's see. Let's test the audio and see what we hear. Okay. Did you all hear that? Okay, let's see. Hello?
Anya.
Oh, okay. So you can hear me now.
Can you?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
It must be a delay.
There should be no delay with you talking to me here unless you're trying to also listen from the computer. Then you would hear a delay.
Okay. I'm watching. Okay.
Okay. Well, at least we know that the audio works. So we're going to open up the lines for somebody to call in who, once they hear me on the phone, they stop using the computer. That would be helpful. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, Tanya. This is Felicia. How are you? Kim from
Hi.
my eye. How are you?
Hi, Felicia. How are you doing?
Well, I was listening to the show, and great topic. We have a problem, Tanya.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. If we're talking about the dynamic about women being rated and high value in terms of men and what they perceive their value is. I think that they, because I tune into different YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say any names, but what I would say is that what I notice is that the argument about high value allows every man to win and for women to pretty much lose. When I say that, I mean, first of all, the argument is that for a high value man, they get the top tier and the prettiest women. Of course, obviously fit, feminine, everything else under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the men who's making 40 or 50,000, of course, now they can have they're choosing between the women who's like sevens and eights, right? And then the men who's not even trying, men who's not even able to support their families or anything else, they can realistically pick anybody from the bottom feeders, based on these ratings. And it's like women lose all around. And I think for me, that's the part that is first tiring. It's exhausting because it's like men don't understand that women still want decent men. When you say high value is not exclusive to just dollars and cents. Yes, we want to be able to have a man who's going to be able to provide for his family, but we also need someone who's of good character and morality. And a lot of times we don't see that. That's never in the conversation.
Okay.
Okay. Lastly, I just feel like I look at like I'm gonna say I look at YouTubers and I tell you it gets exhausting because women call in and they are looking for validation. They want this man to call them pretty or 8 to 9, and then it's almost like um he gets esteemed by kind of like slaying them. I mean, literally letting them know they're not as pretty or valuable as they think. And I think that it
How do
is a
you know? How do you
disrespect.
know what's going on these shows? Wait, do you
I
hear an
look at it.
echo?
I don't hear an echo. I could take you off a speaker.
Okay, let's see if that.
Okay.
Okay.
I look at this show because one thing I
Hold
would say
on.
is, okay.
I just want to make sure that so the echo is gone. All right.
Okay, I took you off a speaker.
So how do you know what's going on these shows?
I look at a lot of shows. I look at a lot of YouTubers, and again, all the messaging is not bad, but there are some messaging that is definitely meant to be very derogatory to women and realistically
So what
put
are these
women.
shows that you're watching that you see these derogatory messages coming through to women?
Well, I'm gonna say. Well, I look at Kevin Samuels initially. Of course, obviously with the first young lady, I think it was Sweetie when she called in. Of course, that kind of made him very popular. So I started tuning in, and when I look at it from the position of, okay, well, where the lens of women and men, and unfortunately, it's like what I see is young women are dying for the validation of men. But then on the opposite end is disenchanting because, first of all, there's this messaging that plus size women, any woman who is beyond a size 6 or 8, pretty much has no value. So for me, I feel like, us women, we have to take this back because right now men feel like the ball is in their court. They feel like they're the prize. I even listen
I
to
feel like this. Hold on. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
hmm
I feel
Go
like
ahead.
this
I'm
is a
sorry.
three-pronged problem, a three-pronged issue. One of the issues is that women are calling. That's one
Yeah.
issue. Another one of the issues is that people are watching,
True. True. I agree.
clicking, viewing. Content creators get paid by the views that they're getting. The views are validation. So
I,
even if no one was calling, the fact that people are watching, like you're talking about people calling in and looking for
mhm.
validation, but you're a spectator to this black man on black woman gladiator style self-esteem destroying events, and you're
and
giving
that
him you're part of the hundreds of people, or I've heard that on his lives there are sometimes thousands of people there, and you're
well,
part of
Tanya.
that number.
Well, Tanya, I guess I can agree with you, and I'm not going to take any. I would say that I know I have specific reasons why. I have male friends that I try to help them understand like where women are coming from, and and and
So you
and
give views and clicks to his content to help your male friends know where.
well, not views and clicks. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like that, Tanya. I would say that yes, I do tune in to some of his programming. I'm not a subscriber. I don't make no cash apps or anything like that for his messaging. But I mean, let's be real about it. I can go to someone else's channel and hear the same messaging about what's going on. That's just like I went to Sinetta's studio and Tommy Sotomore was there and he was kind of discussing some issues with
You went
Kevin
where?
Samuels. Um, Sinetta Studios, and Tommy Sotomore was on that particular station, and
Tiny
they was just talking.
Studios. Is this a place in real life?
It's called Sinetta Studios. He's a YouTuber. His name is Sinetta. They were talking
And
about
so you went to a broadcast where Sotomayor was talking?
yes, he was talking about not just that particular issue about
Okay.
because
I'm going to
obviously
let you
Thomas.
finish. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to finish up your point, and then I'm going to release you from the line. Thank you so much
and that's
for
fine.
calling in.
And that's
Finish up
fine.
your
Well,
point,
well, this
please.
is what I will hope. I will hope that women will understand that, first of all, it doesn't matter about their size, their shape. They need to find esteem in themselves, love
We need to
themselves,
have
like you
enough
said.
esteem not to click on toxic content and validate it through our clicks. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
We
your
need to
opinion.
have enough. Yes, it
That's your
is.
opinion. It is your
Yes.
opinion.
Yes. We need
It
to
is your
have
opinion.
enough self-love not to watch other Black women being abused and then stepping into the den and giving our cosign by our mere presence there. Like, you're talking about some of the most toxic male energies on YouTube, and you're giving them clicks, and now you're coming and naming these names on my platform.
Well, you kind of asked for me to act. I was trying to not provide those names, but what I'm saying, Tanya, what I'm saying to you,
I'm just stunned that you give them
Tanya,
your clicks.
Tanya, what I'm saying to you is, I agree with what you're saying. That no, we should not be tuning in. The messaging is toxic to the Black women. I completely agree with you. I think I stay frustrated. I stay more than frustrated because when I speak to my male, just platonic friends, they don't want to take any accountability for the state of Black America. And in their mind, the men that we meet is our fault.
And them is your friends? Them is, they're your friends?
Listen, I'm telling, Tanya, listen.
These are the people that you have inside of your life that you can come onto my line and tell me that these are your friends?
Tanya, hold on a minute. There are people that you may have known, and they have a life. They grow. And of course, you're still trying to understand their perspective. That doesn't mean we have to agree on everything. Me as a woman, and I have male friends, I try to explain to them our stance, and they try to explain to me their stance. Now, we don't agree. A lot of times we don't agree. And that's where the problem is that we have to be better at discussing what's going on, because now,
listen, I know you're a subscriber, and I am trying with all my might. I'm trying with all my might to give you the ability to communicate and say what it is that you need to say.
Okay,
I need to get off of this call. Listen.
Okay, well, Tanya, don't be frustrated. Don't be frustrated. Just know that. Don't be frustrated. Know that.
Okay, thank you. You know what? You're right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's a lot for me. That's a lot for me. I'm sorry. I really tried with all my heart. I really did. If I could say anything to people out there, I would say this. Listen. People do what works. Vloggers do what works. If they have a toxic message and people are showing up, that works. That works. If you could get people riled up and get people clicking and sharing and coming onto other broadcasts and talking, did you hear what he said? Oh, you need to. It works. It works. It works. And they continue to do it. And we allow them to make a business out of Black women's abuse. We give them the numbers and we validate them. So that when people come by, they say, oh, well, this man had 4,000 people on his broadcast live. He knows how to bring in the numbers. And when they see the numbers, they invite them on for interviews and they put them on larger platforms, and your number becomes the catalyst to more. The best way to treat these people is to siphon them off from the source of oxygen, figuratively, and just cut out their supply until their broadcast just dies off. Denise, I ended the call because listen, we are adults. We are adults. If there is anybody who is watching my platform, I do not force information on anyone. That woman says she has friends in her life that she argues with and she tries to convince them of their point of view and they try to convince. I do not do that. I don't have those people in my life. I don't. You come to me with your effery, you have a right to feel how you feel. Danish, now you can go forward and you can go gray up your hair and riddle your body with dis-ease, going around trying to force people to hear and know and feel your point of view. You can do that. I will not. Far too many of us Black women are out here trying to save a bro and save them though and all of this other stuff. I cannot and I do not. I cannot and I do not. I cannot and I do not. My content is for people who are willing and ready to do the work on themselves. I don't tell anybody you need to do, you should. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't say, oh, why don't you do that? I don't do that. I don't do that. I spoke my piece on that phone call about the numbers. That is the point that I wanted to make. I made my point and I needed to release the call and I did. Why don't you call then? Why don't you call and educate me then? The bottom. Phone lines are open. Phone lines are open. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. Let me see if I can put the number up here on the screen. Let's see if we can find a number. Let's see if we can put the number on the screen. All right, let's see. Call in. Let me create call in live. 323-488-3149. And let's see if we can, oh, the number's already on the screen? Oh, wow. It got put up there quickly. Let's see, how do we, I want to make the number smaller. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just trying to get the number up on the screen and trying to change the size of it, but it looks like I cannot change the size. I'm just gonna have to like resize it myself. All right, so talk to me. What? Oops, I done lost the thing. It's disappeared. Oh my Lord. Okay. So what is it that you would like to speak about this evening, my dear?
I wanted to say thank you for bringing up the opportunity for us to talk about this, because I think that it's really exposing a problem within the, I guess you could say, the Black woman, just within Black women. It's like, I sit back and I look at, you know, when I'm on Instagram, let's say I'm scrolling through a search page and I see people reposting these men, and it's like, Black women, unfortunately, it's like we have this obsession or this addiction to be berated, and it's like, they'll say, oh well, you know, I don't go on the show. Okay, but you're reposting and you entertain men who use those same talking points. You know, I actually came into contact with a Kitten Heel's son, and I had to block him. I was like, whoa, the first sign, you know, it's like when we see it, because at this point, I mean, the man has gone viral and they all use the same talking points. It's like we really have to cut these men off the moment we see any sort of foolishness, whether it's a friend, a coworker. It's like you have to set boundaries, because too many times we think that, oh, well, if I'm not calling into the show, I'm not the problem. But if you're allowing men like this in your circle in real life, if you are, you know, like I say, reposting or clicking or laughing in the comment section, you're contributing to the demise of your own image as a Black woman.
Even if you're arguing, any comment,
even
any
arguing,
view
any
contributes to
engagement.
their success. Exactly.
It does. It does. And it's really unfortunate, because I thought that, I guess I just didn't know it was this bad. But I mean, this man has literally blown up in a matter of, I mean, what is this, only 6 months? And it's just like, Black women, he can't thrive if we don't let him, and I just don't understand what it'll take. I don't.
Well, what do you think it'll take?
Um, I think that, I hate to say it, but you know how they say some people learn the hard way? I think that there's going to be a certain percentage of Black women that will just have to learn the hard way. They'll fall for the talking points and the men who follow behind him. They'll get into a situation where they're like a chicken with his head cut off, you know, the goalposts moving around. Not to mention the other, his other followers who have similar channels, who I'm pretty sure you've seen other men who are probably trying to follow in his footsteps, who people end up reposting. So they'll fall for either him or his followers, and they'll just unfortunately end up in a situation where, you know, I hate to say they're down and out, but I mean, it's like some people don't learn better until they hit rock bottom. So that'll be, I guess, one group. The other group may learn from looking at the other group of women who have hit rock bottom. And unfortunately, then it'll be some that just won't ever learn, and they'll just continue.
Okay.
But it's really unfortunate. It really makes me upset. It really does, because if the roles were reversed, no Black woman will be able to go viral doing what he does. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Well, in our community, it seems like Black men are the protected class in our society, in terms
Yep,
of
they're
hate speech,
worshipped,
etc. Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
and it's 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 sad. It's really sad.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
And
much
what's
for
worse
calling
is,
in.
oh, sorry, I'll just
All
say
right.
one last point, because
Okay.
one of his, I just have to laugh, because the sad part is that the men who are at the very bottom, they think that they have access to, I guess you could say, what they say, the top percentage of women, because I've seen plenty of his followers who in real life are unemployed baby daddies laughing in the comments section, and I'm like, whoa, what, you know, it's like they have this just inflated sense of ego, and it's ridiculous. Even the men at the bottom are just feeling themselves too much, too much.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, phone lines are open 323-488-3149. And I want to hear your thoughts. We're talking about self-love, self-worth, finding your own worth, and not it being dependent on the rating that some male is giving you on some arbitrary scale that he made up himself. It's like we are empowering and emboldening these people to go out there and act the fool. We are allowing them to stay in our lives. We are giving them our attention behind the scenes, having conversations with them, trying to convince them, giving them our precious life force. When you have 1 hour left on your deathbed, do you want to think about the hour that you wasted trying to get some person who, as an adult, has decided that they're going to feel the way they choose to feel about your gender and race? You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, this is Dion.
Hi, Dion.
Well, I agree with what's happening, what everybody is saying. I just wanted to say, like, even with the last caller, when she was saying, oh, even the men on the bottom think XYZ, they have a chance for the women on the top, yada, yada. I think that's part of the problem, too, is because even though we don't want to subscribe to ratings when it comes to us, we still feed into it when we rate them. Or like you said, like when the caller, if she's calling into him and giving him views, that's still a part of it. So I think it's going to take a lot of, I don't even honestly think that as a whole, there's going to be a change, because there's too many variables that has gotten us to this point. And even
Oh no, there will be a
without
change.
realizing,
There will be a change.
you think as
The change is
a whole?
underway right now. Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I hope so. I hope so. But
Absolutely.
for me,
We are
what I
at
was
our
trying to say
breaking
was
point
that,
right now.
no, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is like, okay, we're at our breaking point, but then we also do things that are a part of the problem, though. Okay, like for instance, I'll just give a quick example of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so it's like um the divestment, the womanist thing or whatever. Like one of my friends, she was a womanist, but she would actively go where the men were saying stuff and then like argue with them and curse at them and blah blah blah. Now you're done with men, right? You're done with black men, you're done with this, but then you're still giving them your energy just because you're not sleeping with them or dating them, or just because what you're saying to them is you tearing them down or something, you're still giving them your energy. You're allowing
Mm-hmm.
them to upset you, and like, so you're feeding into it. So what I mean by like, I don't think there's going to be a big change. I just mean like every step forward we make, we still somehow, it seems, to undermine our own steps by participating in behaviors that are counterproductive. But I hope, fingers crossed, that your assessment is the correct assessment
I
and
mean,
that's
if you look at the
where we're
writing on
headed.
the walls, you'll see um, everything is in balance. When things go too
Hmm.
far to the left, course corrects.
Right,
And
that's
the
true.
course is
That's true.
correcting right now. It is going, and all of this stuff needed to happen in
Yeah, it's
order
kind of
for eyes
inevitable.
to be
Right, right,
opened.
right, right. Yeah, because now
You
I'm
know what I
thinking
mean?
about like, yeah.
Because
Nope, you're
black women
100% right.
control whether or not Negroid black males are born. Black women control that.
Hmm. But they keep, okay. So you think they're gonna stop creating them?
Either they will make the conscientious choice or nature will make the choice for her. But
Mm.
everything becomes in balance. There's
Mm.
two sides to everything. There's the yin, there's the yang. And once a thing has
Yeah.
gotten to its breaking point, it course corrects. We just came out of a year and a half pandemic where Mother Earth was able to breathe again. It, the, it's just the nature of being.
No, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I called in. Thank you. I needed that perspective because, yeah, that is so true. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Well, thank you
thank
for
you.
calling in.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. All right. Listen, you know, in tandem with what we were just talking about with the last caller, yeah, black men can make themselves a permanent either under or eliminated class. And that is the way that we're going. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Camarija. Can
Camarija?
you hear me? Oh, Camari Jones.
Camari Jones. Okay. Hi, Camari. How do we help you tonight? You're on the air live.
Okay, I just wanted to say that, hey, I love your show and I love the content that you're giving about, you know, I love the fact that you actually, you're a self-love specialist. And you sound so smart, and I listen to you a lot, and I really I'm enjoying this segment because it's sad. Like your title says, "Hey, what are you, a 7 or 3?" And I actually rate myself. That is so sad, you know. But I just wanted to say I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work, and I'll always be watching you because I don't watch YouTubers at all. My daughter loves YouTubers, and I'm like, ugh, I don't watch YouTube. I watch regular TV. But it was something about your show, especially because of the self-love part. I need help with that. I'm not ashamed to say it, and I would love to hear, what else you have to do that has to deal with, self-love.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
That's
Camari.
all.
All right.
No problem.
Bye. Okay, so let's read some of the apples. Um, Here we go. All right, so Lashandra sends $25 and says, "I love your energy. Thanks for this. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lashandra." And let's see, Dion sends $1 and says, "Give me just one moment. Let me answer this real quick. Bear with me for just one moment. I'll be right back with you." All right. Oh, she hung up. All right. So, she sends $1 and says, "For a Snicker bar, you seem hangry." No, I'm not hangry. And that is actually a little diminishing to my very legitimate feelings of frustration and angst. The call keeps dropping. So we appreciate the dollar, but I'm not hangry. I am disgusted with what's going on out here. I'm disgusted with what it is that we are seeing. I'm disgusted with the change and the tides that are turning in the ways that they're changing and turning. And I'm fed up. I'm fed up and I have a right to be upset. More Black women need to open up our eyes and be upset about what is happening and start making and participating in actions to facilitate change. Absolutely. So, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. Phone lines are open. We're talking about self-love and loving yourself, finding your worth within yourself, and not allowing yourself to be validated or disvalidated by other people. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
I'm Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. So what is your comment this evening?
I just want to say that the only number that I would rate myself as, or it has any significance in my life, would be my age. And that's only because it's the amount of years I've spent on this earth and survived this earth. Other than that, I will be honest and say I have watched a Kevin Samuels video. It was like reposted by somebody else. But I wanted to watch it with my ex-boyfriend at the time because I wanted to see his take on it and if they had the same ideologies and if they felt the same way like about that because I wanted to get into his mind. And the fact that he told me, yeah, he's telling the truth, that made me take a step back and it's like, no, he's telling your truth and the truth of people like you. But I mean, as a Black woman who has not had a father in my life, it makes me feel like you can't really put a number or on what I've survived and what my life has been. So I'll never
Okay.
understand that, and I don't agree with that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your point of view. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. The phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. I You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hello, my name is Dara. How are you?
Hi, Dara.
Hi. So, one thing that I kind of noticed, and I want you to bear with me when I give my explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have noticed that I think part of the problem is that Black women kind of suffer from a level of Stockholm syndrome with Black men. Um, and the reason why I say this, and this is why I say my explanation is going to sound crazy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever read comics like comic books, and you've seen the relationship between like the Joker and his girlfriend Harley Quinn, it's
Okay.
very reminiscent of that. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
So I will explain. So I feel like what I have observed of their relationship is no matter what she did, it will always end out in some type of punishment or like he would abuse her in some type of way. And I think there was one even
comic edition where she went as far as got Batman for the Joker, and he slapped her and did all types of things to her because he wanted to be the one to do that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think that, yes, do you understand where I'm coming from now?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I think that Black women are waking up to the fact that we had a level of, we've already had a level of submission to Black men, but we also had a level of Stockholm syndrome with them because we didn't realize, like, no matter what we would have done for them, they were still going to be angry at us for whatever reason they're choosing to be angry at us for.
Got you. Got you. All right. Well, thank you for giving your
Thank
point of
you.
view.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So phone lines are open 323-488-3149. And we're only going to stay on for a little while longer. I just wanted to give my point, and then and I feel that I've made my point, so I'm just taking some calls until we stop taking calls. So you're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, Tanya. My name's Lois.
Hi, Lois?
Yeah.
Hi, Lois.
How are you? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you came in when the phone was ringing, so tell us what your comment is this evening.
Well, I think what you're talking about is extremely poignant, especially in times like this. I definitely see a shift in what's going on, especially with Black women. We are definitely waking up to what's going on in our own communities, especially with Black men. I feel as though that they have done us a huge disservice. And, through the annals of history, you could tell by their actions that they're not for us. And then Black women, they have this undue, strange loyalty to them when they have not proven that they are here for us. They leave their children, they leave their women. They don't stand up for their women at any given moment. And I'm so happy watching your videos. I've been watching for not too long, but not too short. But you turned me on to Cynthia G. And while she's colorful in the way that the things that she says, but what she says is really, really powerful, really true, and a lot of things that she says. And how she goes on about how they have failed us in these myriad of ways. And it's really shocking, and it's sad. It's really sad that, I was one of those who was all for the Black men. I wouldn't say undying loyalty, but I was, propagate the Black race and, this and that. And then I saw that I wasn't hearing that from their side. It was mostly Black women who are saying these things. And I'm just like, where is the, reciprocation? Well, where's the reciprocity? And there is none to be found. So I myself, while it wasn't a conscious choice, I'm happy in the decision I made to divest. And, I'm not dealing with near as many of the BS that I have to put up with the Black men that I have dealt with. And I say this as a woman who has brothers and sisters and a father who are also Black men, but we have to look at the Black men in large. And I know it's our natural born, we want to cape for them. We want to, but we need to wake the hell up. They are not for us as we are for them. And it's sad, but it's happening that there is a mass awakening in Black women. As we all know, the data shows, statistics show that we are the top earners. We are the highest degree earners. We are the more proliferated business owners, in society, even topping white women, Asian women, sometimes even white men. The statistics show this.
Can you share with us what statistics show that?
No, not readily, actually. But I mean, it's a simple Google search. It's a simple Google search.
I'm sorry, but the simple Google search will not show you that, actually.
No, I mean not off the top of the head. At the top of my wait, are you saying
I just want you
women...
listen. Our
Yeah,
ire,
no.
Black women's ire, is well founded. However, if there's somebody out there who's telling you that Black women are the top earners in the Black community, that person is untruthing to you. And if you go over to the Department of Labor, you will see that Black women earn across the board less than Black men.
I said top. Excuse me. I think I might have meant or may have said, but we are the top degree earners.
Okay.
The higher education degrees.
Okay.
So, and
so maybe so that we can be on the same page, so we can understand what you're saying. When you say top degree earners, what is that meaning?
Higher education beyond bachelor's degree.
Oh, so you're saying okay. So you're saying that Black women are getting more educated and earning higher degrees at greater rates.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I don't know that number. I don't know. And if you could tell us where you found that data so that we can be able to quote it properly.
If I had my laptop on me, I was in the process of cleaning, but if I had my laptop on me, I would definitely,
Well, do you remember what the resource is so I can pull it up now?
No, ma'am, not off the top of my head, but I could email it to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what, shoot that over to me. Go to TanyaTKO.com and click on contact and just send that information over to me.
Absolutely. And,
right.
I only would get my source from scholarly, actually, journals. Yeah. But, all of that to say is that, like, I agree with you, and I see what you're saying, that there is a shift that is occurring right now. And it seems that Black men are not hopping on that train, and they're going to be left flapping in the wind when all is said and done.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay, so if you all want to see what people are earning by race in this country, race and gender, if you go to the Department of Labor, the data is there and available. Black women still earn less across the board financially than Black men. The highest earning person in America right now are Asian men, then white men. And then, you know what, I believe, you know what, I don't want to start misquoting. So, you're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, Tanya. This is Maya.
Hi, Maya.
I actually came in late, so I cannot tell exactly what your perspective was on the whole, but I assume you're speaking about Kevin Samuel. So, and it's been perplexing me for a couple of months now. You're actually the first person that I heard about him from when that viral video, happened with that average at best. So I went to check it out. And I was saying for a while, for maybe about a month or so, I started looking at his channel after that. And I was like, a lot of what he's saying is the truth. A lot of Black women are dying alone. And that's just the truth of the matter. Of course, I soon realized how toxic his messaging was and how he did not allow others who had actually statistics or data to refute his argument. He would just cut them off and stuff. So I basically stopped watching him. But it still perplexed me, his whole argument, because I keep thinking, well, if what he's saying is not true, what's the issue? Because there is clearly an issue right now where a lot of Black men are in agreement with what he's saying. And of course, there are some Black women who are also in agreement with what he's saying up to this point. And then there are those of us who are like, no, that is wrong. There's like a disconnect between the Black man and the black women right now. And I'm trying to understand, how we can, I guess, find common ground. We can't continue the way we've been and somehow expect our relationships to flourish as a community of black people all together.
Thank you so much for calling in. All right. I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to sit up here and argue with anybody. I'm not arguing. You all calling me hangry and stuff? No. So, all right. So, all right. So, listen. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So listen, I'm going to restart the phone thing so that we can make sure that the callers who are calling in can hear the sounds that are coming up so that they can know and understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And listen, this is all right. So phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. 323-488-3149. That's the phone number. We live right now. We live. We live. Listen. We got an Apple that has come in. Let's read the Cash App. Let's read that real quick. All right. So Dion sends $10 and says, for clarity, Cash App was sent well before it got deep. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you. We appreciate the love. All right. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
This is Dion calling back. You read that Cash App well after I sent it. I sent that before everything went left.
Listen, okay.
So I need clarity on this.
All right. Well, we didn't know that it was the same person, but thank you. Thank you so much for the clarity. All right. All right. Thank you. Bye. We got another Apple that has come in. Let's read this real quick. All right. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Okay, I have to take you off speaker. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Hold on for just one moment. I just need to read this Apple real quick. Okay, hold on for just one moment, okay?
Yeah,
I'll grab you in
it.
a second. All right, so this is from Iraida, and Iraida says, love the dust skit. Thank you so much. Thank you, Iraida. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so phone lines are open. All right, so you can turn on the computer in the back. We're back. So what's up? Talk to me. You're on the air live. What's your name?
I'm Michelle from New York. And
you're Michelle?
For one, yes.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. What is your comment
For
this evening?
one, to backside with that first and last caller. Everybody in between, I would not have too much to say regarding their points and the missed points that they had. However, when it came down to, trying to navigate men's thoughts and actions in favor to being a community and working with women, you'll be a foolish, desperate, destitute person to think that that's going to work. everything that you try to push a man towards, they do the opposite. So that lets you know that you cannot, will not, and can never dictate to a guy which way they should go and what they should think about the way they should go. When it came to Mr. Meow Mix, the only reason how I got across to his path is because of the things he was saying initially when I came about in direction to men holding men accountable, and it was a bait and switch completely to galvanize women to come onto his platform that agreed with those points so that he could use us as hanging fruit. Okay. And I played some of those videos and points on my social media towards certain men and to men that I had around me just to see where their mindset was. That man should be used as a way to test things out and see what it is that you're actually dealing with. Going to him for feminine advice for how you should be as a female when it comes to in regards to these men is absolutely a wrong thing to do. That is not a way that anybody should go. At the end of the day, if you feel like this man can guide you in a direction, then why is it that you can't have any points and anything to say that is in regards to you as a female? Everything that is being put towards us is to put men in a certain light and to uphold their ideologies and not ours. And a wise woman once said that too much black women are male identified and is going to be to our detriment. And I totally thank you for making the point this evening that the universe is going to force that shift if we do not do it at our own will.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your point of view.
Thank you for the time. Have a good night. Be blessed.
Thank you. All right. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. We have an Apple that just came in. So this is from iDash. It says personal development is the most important thing. Thank you so much, iDash. This is so true. It is one of the most important things. So we're going to stay on for a little while longer just to hear a few more points of views. And then we're going to allow all of us to have a great night. We are at 1 hour, 39 minutes. So we might as well, let's see, we're at 1 hour, 39 minutes. So we could probably stay on for a little while longer because the first 15 minutes was the intro. So 323-488-3149. And it is open. It is open. All right. Yes. I'm glad that you all enjoyed the little video that I made. Maybe one day we'll get to play a little bit more of it. Maybe today is that day. Let's see. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Maria.
Hi, Maria. What is your comment this evening?
I've watched your videos for a while now, but I watched your video talking to the dude the other night. I don't know. I had watched it, and y'all were talking about the rating of the men and all that. And basically, my point of view basically is, yes, the shift is going to happen regardless. All of us, I'm a mom, and I have all boys. So you have to learn to teach your children in a better way. They need to understand, their importance in society as well as our importance as people. They also have to view that there is a difference in the way that they're being viewed by others. I have some smart young men, and they've been put in some different type of situations, but actually knowing those situations and knowing what's going on helped me. But in other and other African American people don't actually know that it's happening to our culture, like the school system, and it's a lot going on. Like there is just lots of things that are going on at one time. There's just all kind of things going on just to hurt our young men, our youth, our, as African Americans, like they're trying to throw them into messed up categories as children
I
before
would
they
really love
even.
for you to let's speak about your overarching point.
Okay, so so I don't rate myself. I don't do any of that. We don't do. I believe in myself for who I am. I love myself. Um, I don't believe that other people should want to be rated at all. I mean, if you know who you are, why do you care what the next person thinks? That's just my overall take from it. I mean, you shouldn't care what they think. I mean, if you meet a man, a black man, if you meet them, you should be able to see that they love you for who you are. And if they don't love you for who you are, just leave their ass alone and move on.
Okay, because you were talking about all of these things that are out here to get us and get the black boys and the situations that they're put in. I don't see how those 2 points go together.
I'm just saying, like, the way so some of the views, the way that so some of the views and how the boys are raised has the potential to influence the way they are when they grow up. So when they're grown, when you become an adult, all of that, it helps. I mean, it doesn't make them strong like they should be. They not, like, it's not the views the way they are. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain it. It's
Can you
not
hear
like
that?
it used to be. Huh?
Can you hear that music?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Listen,
Bye.
thank you so much for calling in.
Yep.
All right. So, listen, I one of the things that we have to keep our eyes open to. All right, let's continue going forward. There's a phone call coming in. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your okay? Listen, one of the things that we have to keep our eyes open to is that there are two sides to every coin. And we can't get so focused on what one side of the coin looks like. And for our community, we have been very focused on the hardships that one side of the coin has been facing, hoping that if we uplift this one side of the coin, that sooner or later it'll trickle down on us. Ronald Reagan showed us that trickle down economics was a huge failure because as the money went up, the more money was hoarded. Right? As the money went up, the more money was hoarded. And so they were able to. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
My name is Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. I need to do a quick microphone check. I need to make sure that you're able to hear the sounds that I play. Give me just one moment. Let me here. Okay. I just need you to let me know if you can hear this. Do you hear this?
Yes, I can hear that.
You hear that? Okay. Let me
Yes.
all right, give me one moment. Okay. Can you hear this? Do you hear that music?
Yes.
You hear it?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So at least I know we're in the right channel right now. All right. Wonderful. So go ahead. Let's hear your comment.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of excuses made for men, and they always are trying to tell the women how to behave, and they don't take the time to teach the boys how to behave. Because we used to live in a boys will be boys world,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always telling women, oh, you need to dress a certain way, act a certain way, and then you won't have to worry about boys doing this and that. But they're not telling boys that they should control themselves. They're not telling boys how to
Right.
treat women.
Exactly.
If a boy has a baby with a woman, they tell the girl, oh, well, you know, he doesn't want to be there. You probably shouldn't. And it's just like it takes two people to make a child. Why are they not holding the boys accountable as well?
Exactly. Exactly. And this is what I say. There's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a reckoning. People are waking up, and the way that things were done before will not continue to be. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. Phone lines are open at 323-488-3149. 323-488-3149. I appreciate everyone who calls in, even people that don't agree with me. I appreciate all of you. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Nila.
Hi, Nila. How can we help you this evening?
Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
I just wanted to call and say, like, I was thinking earlier today as I was watching a video on YouTube, and I was just like trying to grasp, like, why is it such a battle between Black women and Black men? Like, Kitten Hills would make you think that you can have a world without women, and then some YouTubers that I watch, some female YouTubers, I don't want to bring their name up, but they also make it seem like we can have a world without men, and I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, we both need each other. Like, women need men and men need women, and it's just like, it's ridiculous to me. Like, it seems like the basis, like the hidden basis of his premise of his channel is he's very male identified and, you know, maybe homosexual, and that's why he wants to, like, spew these, you know, ideas out to the uneducated youth, and they don't know any better because they're young and they haven't lived. But he's an elder, and he's spewing these kind of, you know, ideologies out to the youth, and it's just like, it really baffles me because I'm like, what's the end goal? Like, is it to be like pitted against each other, and we're just gonna hate men forever, or men are gonna hate women forever? Like, that's really wild to me. And I see it a lot on the internet. I'm not going to say that I see it in my everyday life, because in my everyday life, my interactions with men are very, you know, very kind of old school, but I kind of facilitate that type of energy. Like, I'm a lady. When I'm in the street, I'm very ladylike. I carry myself as such. And those things come to me. I don't have men out here disrespecting me. Not to say that these things don't happen, because I understand that they do. But I find it more so on the internet, to where it's a very high volume of disrespect to women and Black women, and, you know, from Black men. But in the real world, they don't, I don't witness that. Like, have you noticed that, like, those things, or what's your take on
Well,
that?
I think that there are a lot of men in all different races that are frustrated
Mm-hmm.
because things are changing. Women have more autonomy. Women have more ability to navigate and choose what's right for her. They're not earning enough to be able to care for a family on one salary and get that house with the picket fence with the two dogs and with the two kids and the dog, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel that there are a lot of men who are upset and they're angry and they're lashing out. and we have men who are searching for answers. When we have a community like the Black community, where there is such a tremendous absentee father ratio, um, there are many men who don't know where to turn for fatherly advice. And YouTube is is one of the largest search engines on the planet. And people search YouTube for all types of tutorials and how-tos and lessons, etc. And there are many lost young men coming up who are seeking answers to why their lives are the way that they are. And they find pages that radicalize them and use them for their agendas. Young men are very dangerous, volatile beings across the board, no matter what their race is. Youth and the temerity thereof, coupled with testosterone and brains that are not fully developed, who don't understand um, risk and consequences, etc., coupled with bravado, machismo, and ignorance of how to really truly navigate as a man searching for answers. This is how they're able to radicalize young men and get them to put on a backpack and take out an entire plaza mall or square, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that there are a lot of young men around you who have a certain feeling and you just don't know how they feel because you're not speaking with them and they're not being honest with you. Meanwhile, they're clicking around and they're watching and they're listening and they're learning and they're getting answers for things that they felt that they've been confused about. And so when we start pretending as if the world that we see online is not indicative of what is growing offline, then we fool ourselves when we start, talking about how we carry ourselves a certain way and thus, this is not going on in the world because in my microcosm, I don't see that it exists. We fool ourselves into thinking that the way that a man behaves has something to do with us. They walk among us. They walk among
Right. And
us.
I definitely don't want to, you know, like live my life through, that type of lens where it's like, okay, well, these things aren't happening to me, so I know I don't think they're happening. I don't fool myself that way. I'm very aware of what's going on in worlds around me. I'm more so like the type of person that is like, well, how can we collectively help? How can it be a collective shift on our thinking and how we interact with the world and show up in the world to where we kind of counteract that chaos and kind of transform the chaos to a more productive, progressive, way of being, to where
Well,
not only, you know what I'm
the
saying, like
scales have been
we
tipped in a
we all
certain
can show
direction.
show up better.
The scales have
Mhm.
been tipped in a certain direction for so long that
Mhm.
it's going to take female chaos for this
Mhm.
to even out. We're not going to get where we want to get with the placidity or platitudes of typical female to male interactions. It is going to take
Mhm.
women who are willing to be warriors, who are willing to be avant garde, who are willing to step outside of the box and enact the language that men understand, which is, you know what, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to say that I'm inciting anything. In the movie
No, I know what you
Suffragette, when
mean.
these women were trying to get the right to vote, they tried for many years peacefully and quietly. And then it took speaking the language that men understood and becoming radical in that language and in the actions in order to be able to get what it is that they needed to accomplish. These people did not relent peacefully. And it's going to take You cannot find a solution to the problem with the same mind that that created the problem. So there's going to need to be a shift. So when you start talking about there are female vloggers who posit as if we have a there's a world that we can be without men. I'm very sorry to say this to you, but black men have nullified themselves in the black community. When you
No, I
have
get
70% out of wedlock rate and the community continues to strive, and now women are saying that black women are the most educated, and so they have set up a system where they are not needed. They have removed themselves and invalidated themselves to the point that people have seen that they have gotten by without them. You know, we're always constantly making changes on this platform, and we've moved from one program to another program to another program, and the program, it keeps getting better and better. As you see, the production keeps getting better and better, but I had to leave the old program behind, and then there was a learning curve, and there was the need to it took the destruction of what it is that we were doing. It took learning that what we could do could be done in a different way, and then that was left behind. And as people find their footing, it takes women on many different sides of the spectrum. I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. Like chess is not won with pawns alone. It takes the pawns, the bishops, the rooks, the knights, the king, the queens. It takes all of them. It takes all of the pieces. So there are going to be some women who are going to be like, we don't need men. Men are this, men are that. Black men are this, black men are that. They're not needed, etc. And there are going to be some women who are like, we love you, black kings. We love you. But which actions are getting the results that black women desire and require? Because pacifying and babying black men has not, where's that gotten the community? It's gotten the community with a bunch of dark complected males making disparaging comments against dark complected women and going off unfettered with no other men checking them. And we have women who are calling in on the show who are talking about black men who are in their lives who have these feelings that Queen Kitty Heels is positing in her videos, right? And so it's going to take all types to solve this issue, because listen, let me tell you something. I am a lady, I am feminine, and all this other stuff, right? It takes some to feel that way. And it takes some to be like, I'm an Amazon, I'm an Amazonian, and I am doing what it is that I need to do to get things back on track and right for me. Because everybody is not going to be not every woman is going to be able to rest in her feminine in the black community. The stats just don't dictate that. The stats in the black community show you're going to be working 50-50. You're going to be busting up rocks with your hands and still have it demanded on you that you have eyelashes, Brazilian butt lifts, and looking good on a 30,000 K salary that your man is making. And it just something's got to give. It can't continue like this. I mean, if the writing is on the wall, look at Japan and what's happened. Do you know what's happening in Japan right now?
As far as like their women aren't marrying Japanese men, they're divesting.
They're just not even giving birth to children. They're not marrying men. They're not giving birth to children. Japan is in a crisis because they did not fortify relationships. They did not make marriage a thing that is an attractive prospect for a woman. Women would marry these men who they would call them salary men. They would go to work, they would come home after long, late hours. And when the men were retiring, the families didn't know who the men were, and it was a burden for the man to even be in the house. They invalidated themselves. And now that women are able to work in Japan and earn what men are able to earn, they see no reason. And now you got young men who don't leave their rooms, who are playing video games and not moving out of their parents' home. And it's a disaster. They don't know if Japan is going to be a country in 150 years because the birth rate is actually negative at this point because there are more people dying than being born. They have whole communities that had preschools and there are no children in the school. They've had to consolidate all of the grades, like they used to have back in the old Western movies where they had big kids sitting in the back and the young kids sitting in the front. And they had to put the easy math problems up and then the hard math problems, and the big kids in the back had to. They have whole communities, whole sections of the country where they've had to combine children into one classroom because it didn't make sense to pay enough teachers to be able to teach multiple classrooms. So the writing is on the wall. When women don't see a benefit to marriage, when women don't see a benefit to raising families and giving birth, this data has already come out that single child-free women are the happiest here in America. How much longer do you think it'll be before single child-free women are like, yeah? And the thing is, men cannot survive without us. They're so dependent on us for almost everything. For almost everything. They cannot survive without us. Meanwhile, especially in the Black community, we have been pitted to have to survive without them. And so we survived.
That's true. I agree. I agree with that. So the plan is to just, divest and to not. I mean, I'm already in agreement with not sharing my wound, with men that are unworthy and not able to take care of themselves, let alone a household. It's just, it's sad, really, but it is what it is, because at the end of the day, like, I don't know, like something has to change, like you say, it has to shift, and with strong feminine energy, we can counteract that, that male domineering energy to shift the paradigms to make it to where it'll be more for our benefit, because I don't see how it is us going forward, how it's going to be for our benefit. You see what I'm saying?
I got you. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thanks, Tanya. You have a good one. Love you.
All
Bye.
right. You too. Love you too. Bye-bye. All right. Phone lines are open. 323-488-3149. You're on the air with Tanya. What's your name?
Steven.
Yes. Hi, Stephen. How can we help you this evening?
Tanya, don't do it. Don't play the music. I'm not one of the Dusties, I promise.
My finger is moving. Let's get to your point because my finger is moving.
Okay. Here we go. I just wanted to say that male privilege is real, and I think that I need to see more allies amongst the male side to get closer to what we are speaking of here tonight, which is a sense of equality and doing right by the women in our community. But I will agree with you on every point you've made tonight, especially the piece of men do rely on women, especially in our community, and the absence of men and the shortcomings of males, if you ask me, has almost created sort of a matriarchy, where the women really do hold our community down. But I just wanted to say that I'm very aware of my male privilege, and I wish more of my fellow male species had that awareness and would do something about it. But we're so ingrained after many, many years of these very toxic patterns of masculinity. And I will agree with some of your past points about the Black male being essentially conquered. As hard as it is to hear that, I think I have enough, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Discernment, differentiation to be able to take that because I look around me. And it's pretty true. Look at how a lot of my fellow black men live their lives. So I just want to say, if no other males call tonight, you have an ally in me, and I think there needs to be more of us that speak up and do something.
Okay, so what are you
And there's a,
actually doing?
it starts at home. It starts with education. It starts with not abusing women is number one. And abuse comes in many forms, by the way, not just verbal or physical, but how we take advantage of our women. I'm not having kids out of wedlock. I'm not relying on um, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, the system. You know what I mean? Like I'm self-sufficient and I bring something to the table, and I'm trying to teach. I come from a family of where there's nothing but girls in the next generation, so I'm trying to show my nieces and whatnot what a stand-up male looks like in our community. Unfortunately, I won't get into it because we're on live, but as many of us come from lines of men who were kind of embarrassments for many reasons. Kids out of wedlock, multiple babies, mothers, not educated, taking advantage of women, etc. So just living my life. I got my education. I finished grad school, doing right by the females in my life.
Okay,
But see,
what are
people
you
like
doing? What are you doing from your masculine energy
mhm.
to assist the shift in the community? What are you doing with boys, with other men?
I'm having conversations with not only my peers, but with younger men that are around me um, about what it means to not necessarily provide, but to truly support and endorse um, women's empowerment. I consider myself a feminist, so I have conversations. I do work in mental health, so I provide therapy to young men of color, et cetera. And we do get into these conversations about what does it mean to be someone representative of your community. How are you assisting the females in your vicinity towards greatness? Are you leading by example? And I can't tell you, not one of them, Kanye, not one of my clients, not one of them has, unfortunately, like a positive paternal figure, which says a lot, right? Which doesn't surprise anybody, but that's the problem, is a lack of role models. So I'm trying to shift by doing what I can in my community to start these conversations, to get some insight into, really, bottom line, instill self-love. Because at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest element missing from the black male today, and you see it in how we live our lives, is a lack of self-love. Um, I hope that
Okay.
answers your question.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, and this may be a little controversial, right? But I'm saying this
Yeah.
from the heart, right? I appreciate you calling in, right? I appreciate you calling in. Um, One of the things that I find is that in course correction, one of the things that I find is that there will be certain men who will, in what it is that they're calling course correction, come in and take up the role of the feminine in male form. So they'll hold the feminine position, and they will have, the passive um determination for, or not even the passive position on change, etc. And they end up speaking to women, about the things that, that men are doing wrong, etc. And then we come together and we beat our tambourines, and it's a wonderful, wonderful time, right? However, in this fight, we also need men who speak the language of men, and not necessarily call in and come into contact with women to, to validate. Like I don't need the validation of men calling in and saying, you're right, men are really effed up. I don't need that. What we need is, we need men who are stepping up in the role of the masculine and taking charge to actually change these communities and the face of the community, not one person at a time, but really creating massive change, massive change. And that's just how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I appreciate you calling in. It I don't know. I feel a sort of kindredness with your message, right? It's wonderful to hear. However, we really need male allies who are able to not live in female spaces, but to enter into male spaces. It's the same
But
way with,
Tanya,
with
jump in on
biracial
Lady
people who come into the black spaces and they come in, agreeing with the black thing at first, and then, then it shifts, and then this, that, and the other, and then it's something different. And it's like, the best way that a biracial person can be an ally to the black community is to take advantage of the latitude that they have to the white community. So you as a man, one of the greatest ways that you can assist is by being in your maleness and using your proximity and your ability. This is how they get people to go deep cover, because the people who are deep cover, they're recognized by the people, and they have similarities to the people that they go undercover with. But just not to live in female spaces, but to use that masculinity to be a man, present as male, be able to speak the language of men, and take action to actually create change in the communities. So that's my thought.
I appreciate you.
You were saying something. I cut you off. I wanted to give you a chance to finish saying what you were saying.
I was kind of being lighthearted. I said, but Tanya, when male allies head over to Grandpa Kitty, you see how he wakes up with random dudes in his bed, random glitches. So sometimes we're not quite sure. You feel me? The male
I mean, if you feeling the inclination to fall down into his mattress on the floor by going over there, then maybe that's the way that you be covert that way. Maybe we do need somebody to fall down onto his mattress and get some photos.
Tanya, the glitches, they got
something irrefutable. You know what I mean? With him down there, you just get your phone out and be like, snap, snap, ha, ha, ha. You know what I mean? Just do what you got to do.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the reminder. You're right. We need to vocalize and empower from our male spaces and have the right target for change. And I'm not saying that I necessarily occupy like your channel or other female allies channels primarily. It's just I wanted to pop in tonight to just remind y'all and the ladies that hey, there might be a few of us, but we're here and I hear you and you matter. But you don't need to hear that. Like you said, I need to take this energy over
I feel that it's actually very dangerous because it paints a narrative it paints a picture, just like those cops going into the ghettos, giving the children ice cream, so that now the kids are like, hey, Papa Copper, thank you so much. And then it's too late.
I feel you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Thank you so much for letting me call in.
Thank you for calling in.
Night.
Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, wow. Back to back. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Marica.
Hi, Marica. How can we help you?
I just wanted to speak about what's going on. I want to say that as I was listening and waiting for you to pick up, my perspective changed. Was believing that the world is full of too much masculinity, and we need to bring more feminine to the world. But then you was mentioning how men have their roles as the masculine and women have their roles of feminine. And I feel like now a lot of men, after listening to you, that a lot of men have a lot of feminine traits, and that's why they don't. Sometimes it's hard for them to embrace their full masculinity, like to be a provider and things they're supposed to do, like protecting women and respecting their woman.
But I just feel like that part of a masculine is missing and is more feminine in the men, because I feel like they react more feminine to certain situations. Like some men might be jealous of other women, which I don't understand that, but I feel that is a lot in this world. And I just wanted to say that initially I was thinking the world is full of masculinity and we need more feminine, but just from hearing you, I feel like men need to take more of their role and understand. And most men grew up with their mothers and not their fathers, so they didn't see that. So they seen more of their mother traits and they took stuff from that. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Thanks.
All right. All right. We're taking a few more phone calls. And then after that, we're jumping out of here. As a matter of fact, we've already been on for 2 hours. So let me shut down the phone lines now. All right. Phone lines are closed now at this moment. Let me get the number off the screen. All right. The phone lines are closed. I appreciate all of you who took part in today's discussion. Let me get the last apple up on the screen. Let me just refresh. I wish that there was a way that I could. Oh, I finally was able to close the screen. And let me just restart it back up again just so we make sure what we have. And we have an apple from Iraida, who has written back in. I don't know if she's still in here because she sent this a little while ago. She sends $2 and says, how do you shift your feelings like that? Need tips. How do I shift my feelings? Well, you just shift it. You know what I mean? You just shift it like this. Hey, all right, listen, I appreciate all of you for coming out. But on a serious tip, you just shift. You don't take all of this stuff personally, and you realize that you are in control of your emotions. Your emotions don't control you. Hey, 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 hey. Lesson here tonight. What's the self-love lesson from tonight's video? Listen, the self-love lesson from tonight's video is you have to love yourself from within. You cannot allow these people to determine your worth for you. You cannot. You can't. Hey. 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 Hey, hey. Thank you all so much for coming out. I will see you all in the next video. Make sure that you're subscribed and you know how to find my channel again. We are here on the Tanya TKO live page and we broadcast almost daily. Make sure that you join the text notification squad with the link below. Thank you for sending me stories. Send me stories on my website, TanyaTKO.com. Click on contact, and I will see you all in the next video. Tanya TKO